What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which of course means it's time for another Western New York Wednesday here on the channel, and the beer I'm reviewing today once again comes from the Other Half Brewing Company, and they're headquartered in Brooklyn, New York, and this is their HDHC Broccoli Special Reserve, and this is the 2025 release. So this is a double dry hopped Imperial IPA that comes in at 8.3% alcohol by volume, no IBUs listed, time of review. And this can is just over 3 weeks old. So wanted to pick something up for Western New York Wednesday, and I saw this and I was like, you know what, it's go time. I don't review as many Other Half beers on the channel as I used to, but if you check the channel and you do a search, I've reviewed over 100 different Other Half beers. That includes collaborations with other breweries, but yeah, I've reviewed a lot on the channel over the years, but I kind of slowed down the last couple years. To be honest with you, I still love Other Half, but they release so many different beers on a weekly basis. It's hard to keep track, but I saw this. I've had numerous broccoli and broccoli variants from them that I've reviewed on the channel, that I've had off camera, and I really like the whole broccoli. I won't even call it a series. And no, there is no broccoli in this. A lot of people be like, is that brewed with broccoli? It's not. It's just the name of the beer. So on here, they say they brew this one with Simcoe, Mosaic, and Nelson Sauvin, Citra Cryo, Citra Incognito, is that Mosaic Cryo, and Simcoe Cryo. Like, it's hard. I don't know if you're going to see it on camera, but it's hard to read. It's probably easier to read on camera. Wow, that's much easier to read than in person. So if you want to check that out. But they have a little spiel that I probably won't read at the end. It's tasting notes. But yeah, their HDHC is their high-density hop chars. They use so many pounds per barrels. And they do make some awesome HDHC beers. Anyway, we're going to give it a pour here into the hashtag proper glassware. It has that kind of, turbid, milky, hazy IPA look that so many people look for nowadays. Maybe not as milky, but definitely in that realm. So how does it look in the hashtag proper glassware? It looks pretty good. It has that milky, like yellow orange, that hazy orange color. 2 fingers of a super creamy, tightly compacted as far as the bubbles go. And that looks awesome. Like the actual head is amazing. It's like off-white. And then this is the first Other Half glass I ever bought, and I still have it to this day. I just love it. It's a Tiku with the Other Half logo chained together. Can't get much better. Anyway, let's get a nose here. So just over 3 weeks old. I don't remember what I thought about broccoli specifically. I always like broccoli and like the double dry hop version, and then the cheddar broccoli and a whole bunch of other ones. This smells very dank. Yeah, it has that dank herbaceous, almost like stinky, I've said this before, like stinky cheese into like garlic onion. Not quite like a umami kind of feel, but like just earthy. Underneath that though, tons of, to me, ripened, creamy stone fruits, papaya, mango, honeydew melon, peach, apricot. There's some nice sweeter citrus tones too, like a juicy kind of orange grapefruit juice. Maybe a little bit of a Tangelo. Pineapple for sure. It's honestly giving me the caddy vibes. Now, they use Simcoe and Simcoe Cryo in this one, so maybe that's what the Simcoe's doing. It's more, now I'm thinking about it, it's like, it's dank, it's herbaceous, it's earthy, but it has more of that, like, that caddiness you get from Simcoe. Almost like an ammonia aroma. It smells really good, really fresh, and I want to get into it. So cheers, everyone. Yeah, this is just what Other Half does. Ooh, I really like the dryness, and there is a nice punch of bitterness on this one. So one reason that I have stopped reviewing as many Other Halves outside of they release a lot is I was getting to the point where like a lot of them started tasting very similar. Like it had a similar profile. It's Other Half, whatever house yeast you're using, their water, all this stuff was similar, and then they would do like, change out 1 hop, maybe 2, and it would be a slightly different beer, but not completely different. This, coming back to not having as much Other Half over the past year or two, is really tasty, and it's a little bit more bitter and dry than I remember a lot of their beers being. Buys like higher side of medium, lower side of full, 8.3%, has a nice viscosity, but it's not overblown. The mouthfeel is exactly what Other Half does. It's not quite one of their like oat cream where they're using a shit ton of flaked oats and then some lactose. This has more of that just straight on, kind of a lot of oats, a lot of like probably like wheat in here as well. So it's soft, it's smooth, it's creamy, has a mild to moderate carbonation, but very smooth and creamy on the palate and a little bit softer than you anticipate. So mouthfeel's fantastic, as is the body. The taste, really, really nice. The nose carried over. Right up front, first thing that hits me is more citrus than anything. Orange, grapefruit, like I said, Tangelo, and it's more of like a juicy kind of a version of that, a little bit sweeter. As it passes through those creamy stone and tropical fruits, the papayas, the honeydew melons, the mangoes of the world, it has that creamy, fleshy, kind of over-ripened vibe of a tropical or stone fruit. Underlying pineapple, I'm almost getting a little bit of lychee as well. And then on the finish, that cattiness, the Simcoe, the dank kind of earthiness hits. It's not, like I was saying, more of like a dank herbaceousness. It's more of like a dank earthiness. And it's really nice because it, for some reason, that transitions right into a bone dry finish. This is mild to moderately carbonated, probably smack dab in the middle, but more approaching moderate if I had to choose. But this is very dry, very well balanced. It's honestly a beautifully crafted beer, but also extremely balanced, which is what I kind of look for personally nowadays when it comes to the hazies. I want a dryness and a bitterness, even though stylistically a big bitterness in a hazy just isn't stylistically correct. It should be less bitter than, say, like a West Coast or like an old school American IPA. But for me, I want some kind of dryness and or bitterness to kind of balance it out, and this does it an absolutely fantastic job. Like, as I continue to sip on this, I'm liking it more and more than the initial sip, which I thought was really good to begin with. 8.3%, nowhere in my chest, nothing on the palate. The only reason I would know this is a bigger beer is because A, the body's pretty big, the mouth feels luscious, and then the flavors are of something that's more approaching an imperial / double realm, where I don't think you could get many 6.5, 7% beers that are as flavorful as this, if I'm being honest. Look at the glass lacing too, as I always like to show you guys recently, like absolutely fantastic glass icing. One more sip, and I'm going to lock in a rating. I'm between two scores, but I think I'm leaning towards one. Yeah, so when I was thinking about grabbing another half beer for Western New York Wednesday, and I chose this one, I'm glad I did because I'm familiar with the broccoli series. I've liked the vast majority within the broccoli series. I call it broccoli series now, even though earlier I said it wasn't. It's whatever. You call it a series, you can call it not. It's basically like their food series, and they just came out with a bunch of other ones, avocado, this and that. But this is like the OG, right? And this is just a special version of it. I think they said they replaced the Strata with Citra, whatever that entails. If they're just, you know, I don't know. I don't see, that's the thing. I should have looked up the original broccoli like hop profile, because this definitely tastes something familiar to my palate as far as like beers from Other Half go, but it's still unique enough, and I love the balance. Highs the alcohol well, beautiful body mouthfeel, really delicious. So Other Half's HDHC Broccoli Special Reserve, the 2025 release, I'm going to give this a low 4.5 out of 5 and go 4.4 out of 5. I was between a high 4.25 and a low 4.5. I'm going to go with the low 4.5. Why? Because this, my friends, is quite tasty. Price point availability, I think this is like $22 a 4-pack when they release it. I think they released a Special Reserve at least once before, if not multiple times. I think they released it in 2024, maybe 2023 too. I never had it as far as I can remember, so that's why I picked this one up. $22 a 4-pack. I think I paid like $6. I bought it at Brewed, Bottled, and Loose in New York. Fine by me. It's a delicious beer. I mean, compare this to what I had a couple days ago with Trillium. This is like a quarter point better. So I'd much rather pay $6 for this than $6 for that Mass Ave from Trillium. And, you know, just gotta be honest with you, this is hitting more of the marks of what I'm looking for when we're talking about like a hazy double IPA. Availability, it's Other Half. They're all over the place. You can get them shipped from their website if they ship to your state. They have a bunch of different tap rooms all across like the Northeast, I mean, they're basically in multiple locations in New York City. They're here in New York. They're here. Well, they do have multiple locations in New York City. In Buffalo, they have Bloomfield. They have Philadelphia. They have the Baltimore, or the Maryland one, right? They have, or Washington, D.C., I should say. They have the one in Chicago. There's a bunch of them, okay? You can get your hands on Other Half nowadays. I see them in Wegmans grocery stores. Like, they're not hard to get. So if you want to grab this one, you probably can find it somewhere or maybe trade for it, and you're not going to pay a pretty penny to do so. So anyway, that was another Western New York Wednesday. We went back to Other Half. It's rare I feature them on Western New York Wednesday, but shout out to the boys over at the Buffalo tap room of Other Half. Ty, they're great dudes. I need to go down there and do an on location when I get that off the ground. Maybe some here somewhere like, you know, the year 2029 or whatever. I don't know. Fuck me. Anyway, if you've had this one before, please post in the comment section. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. Check back next Wednesday for another West York Wednesday. And until then, cheers.